Welcome to the tabletop review of the original Leatherman Super Tool. I have this on loan to the channel right now. As I understand it, this is probably from the early 2000s, this version particularly, and purchased from Cabela's, as you can see the branding on here. It does come with a leather sheath, and quite a thick sheath at that. This is probably made of looks to be about 5-ounce leather. It's got to be a good, 3-4 millimeters thick there. It does come with brass rivets. It does seem to be just a single piece of leather folded over, which gives it quite a bit of durability. And then I'm assuming they wet formed it to get these corners. And if it sounds like I know what I'm talking about with leather, I have actually worked leather a little bit myself. So yeah, I can appreciate the quality of this sheath. It is a little bit rugged, but I do like the snap closure. It does still function here about 20 odd years later, and it develops a nice little brass patina even. Okay, enough about the sheath there. So let's start up here with the classic Leatherman shape plier heads here. We do have a needle nose, and the jaws are pretty well aligned. This has been used, but mostly for bending coat hangers, according to user testimony. And we do still have that little texturing on the teeth here, so you can grab wire and other stuff. We do have some cutouts here for turning bolts, and we do have, it looks like, soft wire cutters right here on the flat portion, and then right down here hard wire cutters. I wouldn't totally trust these to cut too much hard wire, although I do feel the cutters coming together, so they are still well aligned and haven't been used too harshly. There's a little bit of a lanyardy loop right there, and I'm not sure if this is a tool down here. It looks to be a wire stripper, but I don't have a manual or anything to go off of, so I'll have to maybe annotate that down here later. Okay, moving on, we do have a pretty nice saw blade here. If it looks like it hasn't been used, again, this is a very light duty tool for the owner. Moving around to the other side, we have a chisel ground serrated blade, and this thing is apparently wickedly sharp. It cut the owner within a couple minutes of him messing around with it. So yeah, I'm not going to try and stick my fingers in the way. We do have a full-size Phillips driver, which is great to see, and I wish Leatherman would bring back this design, because man, it is great. I do believe this is on the current generation of super tools though, but I could totally use one on my Leatherman Surge. Then we have a very small precise screwdriver here. It is tapered for some reason. I don't know why Leatherman insists on doing that, but yeah, it could also be a light duty scraping tool. It is very precisely ground, as you may be able to tell. And then we have a move that out a little bit. There's a wire stripper notch down there. As you can see, it is sharp, and I don't really strip wire, so I don't really have any to show you. There's a can opener as well, which has quite a nice edge on it still. And then this should double as a cap lifter, although you will puncture your cap as you're trying to get it off. All right, moving on to the other side here, we do have a full plain edge blade, which is apparently also very sharp, just like its counterpart, the serrated blade. We have a very nice file, which is kind of surprising to see, since most of Leatherman's latest multi-tools kind of neglect this aspect of their tools. We do have, it looks like, a single cut on this side, so just one set of diagonal lines. And then on the back side there is a double cut, so you can see it goes one way and another direction, giving this little diamond shaped pattern on there. And this one just single parallel lines running across. Okay, we have another flat bladed screwdriver, again tapered for some reason. Leatherman, why? This is the best flat bladed screwdriver on the whole thing, and it does have a pretty significant nail nick there, so it's a little bit easier to fetch out than this guy with its little nail nubbin right there. And it is very slightly tapered, although it comes to a much wider point here, which should be more durable. And then we do have a little reaming tool on here, which yeah, feels well ground, Doesn't look like it's been used for much, and I'm certainly not going to put a whole bunch of wear on it. So yeah, this has a pretty good complement of tools, I would say, and overall the workmanship is rather good. There is a little bit of rust on the tool. I don't know if you saw it as we were going along. There's a little bit here. I think there was a little bit like down in the pivots. So before I give this back to the owner, I will probably touch it up and probably hit it with a little bit of EDCI just to make sure that this thing sticks around in good shiny condition for years to come, because this has been pretty cool to take a look at. And I'm sorry I don't have much of a usage review for you on this one, but like I said, this is borrowed, so we're just going to be gentle with it this time around, although I will take a crack at getting these knives out safely and then using them to cut. So let's grab the serrated one. You can see this blade does clump with the other tools. And then this is the real kicker. You can see that spring flexing, 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 boom, snaps into place. And honestly, it's not technically locking, but this is the stiffest slip joint I've ever encountered in my life. So yeah, I don't have any worries about that closing on my fingers. Here's a piece of paper I've been typing on, been working on my typing skills. So let's see here. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. This thing is an absolute freaking laser. This is the first time I've cut with it. Okay, I totally understand how it cut somebody within like 10 minutes of being in someone's life. That totally makes sense. Okay, so the key to getting this thing closed is to open up another tool, and we're going to try and open up that spring again so that we can disengage. There we go. Ba-boom. Almost forgot about that. Okay, let's try the plain edge blade. I'm assuming we're going to have a similar lockup experience. Yep, very solid. Ooh, extremely difficult to close. And yeah, very, very scary sharp. Yeah, that is a crazy, crazy factory edge right there. What steel is this? I don't know if it says. I would assume something in the 440s, but I'm not totally sure. Anyway, yeah, let's do that trick again. So we're going to open the tool, flex out this little back spring, and then close them up. So it's definitely not the most one-handed tool or easy to use tool, but this is the original Super Tool, and so the current iteration definitely owes a lot of its design to what's going on here. And we also have a ruler, which is something that I can't believe Leatherman did not include in the P series, because you can open it up like this, and check it out. We have about 8.5 inches, or almost, what is that, 22 centimeters roughly of length to measure with on here. So yeah, Leatherman, bring this aspect back. I really quite like this feature of your tools. I will say it is very easy to deploy the pliers on here. Like, it's definitely tuned for a good set of pliers, which I can definitely appreciate. And then fairly good to hold. I mean, these gaps right here leave a little bit to be desired, but on the back end, all these chunky little tools in here definitely give you a good grip. Yeah, I could use some rounding right here, but again, this design is discontinued, and I think it was pretty good for the time and, you know, places that it was employed. So yeah, that's all I've got for you on this vintage, at this point, Leatherman Super Tool. Let's do a little size comparison here between this and the Leatherman Surge. So I do all kinds of multi-tool videos, as well as knives and fountain pens, if you're into that kind of gear review type stuff, and for, you know, everyday carry objects to improve your life, why don't you come on over to my channel, hit subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to get my notifications. I would really appreciate it. And I do also have a Patreon if you have any interest in that. But yeah, I don't think this tool really competes with my Surge functionality wise, but certainly size wise they are a pretty close match. This has been fun, guys. If you want to see more you know, more older multi-tools and discontinued designs, let me know. Drop me a comment. But otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for joining me today. I've been Joe. You've been watching my channel, Ink&Iron, and I'll catch you on the next review. Bye.